You got little yellow bars.
I have yellow bars.
And your
It's
peak
exciting.
bumping up towards 9.
Yeah.
Negative 9.
Yep. Not
All right.
quite getting there most of the time, but well, how you doing tonight, Eric? I don't know if I'll leave that in or not.
A pre-intro.
Pre-intro. Well, we're playing with audio. I'm recording in a different way this week because for the last several weeks I have been intending on buying this app, Audio Hijack, that Eric, you've been using for like 2 months now or something. A long time.
Yeah, a while.
But I get in a rut, and when everything's working, I'm a why break it kind of guy, as opposed to let's just pretend somebody else, without naming names, being recorded right at the moment. No. Anyway, so hopefully an audio will show up. If you're listening to this now, it worked.
Otherwise, it's going to be very boring and lots of empty airspace if it's just me.
We'll just have half the conversation. No, that would probably not go over super well.
To answer your original question, I'm doing all right.
Oh, that's good.
My standard answer.
Standard answer. It's all good.
Yeah.
Staying safe.
Yes, staying safe. Staying indoors. It's going to be easier to stay indoors. Well, not easier. The rains are going to start here soon, and it's going to be harder to be outdoors just for a short walk or something, which I enjoyed most of this summer.
Yep.
So this will be something new, and then of course the other part of with winter comes colds and the sniffles and the paranoia of is this just the sniffles or
right. Do you have a sore throat or do you have COVID?
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's kind of a become a bit of a, every time anybody in the house coughs, it's like, uh-oh, do you have COVID? So, yeah. People cough. It's just the way of things. It's kind of a natural thing.
Yes, it is.
How about this past weekend? Did you do anything fun?
Not really. I mean, I did more cleanup. So now that the backyard and deck is officially finished and has passed all the city inspections.
The pros are done.
I've started to move some things around that I was waiting for them to be done with. Because, I didn't... there's some areas of the yard that I wanted to pay attention to myself and put some stuff out. So over the weekend, it was kind of, all right, we need to... This pile of stuff that was here because we were waiting till it moved, let's move it over here now where it goes. And this stuff that goes here, and now what are my next projects and what do I want to do next? And yeah.
Yep.
So it's... It was a working weekend, just menial tasks around, all the things that have been piling up of just doing those.
That's cool.
Nothing exciting.
No, that's cool. Now that you have a nice deck, you'll have to go to Costco and get one of those nice like deck sets. I don't know, what do you call them? Settees? I don't know. Whatever. A couch. The waterproof couches and chairs and
we need
stuff like
we
that.
need some now we need some kind of deck furniture and a table and
deck furniture. That's a better way to say it.
I don't know if that's what the right answer is. Something to put out there so that we can actually go out now and enjoy it. There's still the last thing that has to happen is painting, which now that we're into the weather season we're in, that may not, we got to wait for a few dry, slightly warmer days to be able to do that. But,
I think it might be supposed to be dry and warm next week, but who knows? Got to take it. Can't trust the 10-day forecast these days. Well, I mean at this time of year, not just quote unquote these days.
Yeah, no. Fake weather. Sorry.
Yeah, the weather is what the weather is. What did we do this weekend? I think the big thing we did was we lost a tree or most of a tree in those big windstorms, the ones that ignited the fires, a month ago. Must have been at least a month ago at this point. So it's been down for a while. And so my big thing on Saturday was just, I keep having other, it keeps being a last in first out queue on the priority list of projects. And I'm like, I gotta go get that done because, it's kind of on the lower end, low elevation wise. So it's going to, when it starts raining, it's going to get wet. I won't be able to get the tractor in there. And so right. I spent Saturday chopping it up and we, piling up all the branches and then, we on Sunday we had a burn pile. But so on Saturday, as we were, taking the stuff to the burn pile and, my wife was like, we should call up some friends and have them come over for a socially distant burn pile. Because, I don't know if you've ever done a big burn pile. I mean, I guess I've done a lot of them, but I guess maybe that's not something that most people do. But it's like it's sitting around a fire, except a big one that you don't want to get too close to, and it's 5 minutes of work, kind of going around hucking in any sticks that are burnt out, and
right,
and then you sit down for another 20 minutes, and so it was a good time to sit around, at a distance and shoot the breeze with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something we haven't done that for a long time. So who knows, especially with cases skyrocketing in Oregon and around the country, maybe I will regret having done that. But we were pretty good socially distancing, and it was essentially no host. I said, bring a chair and something to drink, which they did. And it was a
BYOE. Bring your own everything.
Yeah, bring your own everything. There you go. But anyway, so that was the big project of the weekend, which I'm really happy got 85% done. I've still got a couple big logs down there that I got to cut up the rest of the way, and but it's pretty doggone good. I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, that was my big nice. External project.
Well, we were also able to get another project 100% done. My wife and I, we voted and send in our ballots because mail-in ballots are great.
I love voting in Oregon. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, when did Oregon institute mail-in voting? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's been here as long as I've lived. I've lived here now, I think 17 years? 17, yeah, 18 years. Holy cow. Time flies. Yeah, we've been here 18 years, and I think it's been almost as long as I can remember having lived here, if not the whole time I've lived here.
So I now have data.
All right.
Let's see. On November 7th, 2000, Oregon became the nation's first all vote by mail state.
There you go.
Here's how history was made.
In 2002.
I will throw this link into the chat. Except the weird thing for me, I guess, is that I remember voting by mail before 2000, but it says it has a bunch of things in history. It says so in 1981 they did a test of vote by mail. 87 vote by mail was made permanent. Majority of counties use it for local/special elections. And then during the 90s, they had a whole bunch of statewide elections, all vote by mail. Mostly, I think, special elections. Although, it says in 1998, 41% of registered voters in Oregon were permanent absentee voters. So maybe that's what I was doing. In 1998, Oregon became the first state to have more ballots cast by mail than at the polls during a polling place election. Anyway, so Oregon has a long history of it, essentially. which is awesome. Vote by mail is awesome.
Yep.
Can't promote it and be happier enough with it. Let me just paste that link in here.
Nice.
So I think I tweeted a picture when I did that. I think it was Monday though, when we voted. It might have been Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when the exact day. I think we did it over the weekend and either dropped it in the mail on Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yeah, it was kind of fun this year. This was the first like major election. I mean, I guess 4 years ago, my kids were much younger, so we sort of did a not voted as a family, but we made it a family thing. You know, where we showed them the pamphlet and the arguments for, arguments against.
Right.
You know, all the bios and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's a good experience, I think. Good to understand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did the same thing. I think Sunday dinner conversation was, here are the candidates, here's what we just had a discussion about them, and kids talked about what their friends, what they talk about at school about voting and that kind of stuff. So it was an interesting conversation. Always fun to actually have a conversation that your kids are engaged in at the dinner table. If your kids are anything like mine. Sometimes dinner conversation is not very conversational.
Well, I think my kids enjoy the weirdness of many of our conversations at dinner. Because we kind of have people used to hold the L up to their forehead to mean loser, and well, we do sort of that, but with the American Sign Language N for nerd quite often, because
nice.
My younger boy is super into D&D, and so if you say anything even related to it, he can tell you all about the I'm trying to even think of an example, but you'll mention a dragon and he'll be like, oh, this is like the Dragonkin, all about the Dragonkin. I swear he has the books memorized, which is fine and fantastic, but and so it's awesome. Yeah. Last night's conversation was both my boys play music, and they're having a hard time in their chamber class or chamber orchestra. Evidently, the times are in 7/4 or something like that. It's like,
ooh,
like a really bizarre time. It's the sort of thing that it's like 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Like that's 5/4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2. Like it's particularly bad, or particularly hard, and so my wife has a T-shirt that says like 13/8 and I think 5/4. And the clefs, bass clef, treble clef, with the words on it that says these are difficult times. And so actually the joke last night was that my younger boy was like, we should do that same thing, but with 2020 instead of 2020. Right. These are difficult times. Like a play on music and on the date. I thought that was pretty funny. I told him he should go to Redbubble, draw something up and sell it on Redbubble, but I don't know. Maybe he will. I thought it was funny. Oh, anyway, it's all good. Let's get into like topics or something.
Yeah, let's talk about Venice again.
I threw this into follow-up because it's the third time, but they tried it. It worked. Then they said, nah, let's just let it flood. No. But there was a follow-up from this past week that said that the Venice's controversial barriers prevent flooding for the second time. So, and I know you said that the second, not sure it was a flood or a tide. The second tide was not quite up to the standard where they said they would raise it.
Right.
But they had another super high tide coming. And so it worked, which is, there you go.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say about that.
we could talk about movies. So I picked out one, and I actually, in the Slack, I had thrown a different article in and then decided against it. The article I originally had thrown in the Slack was a fast food barbecue chain, fast-ish food, fast casual, whatever, had their website hacked in some way, and their 3 million credit card details for customers who had purchased something. And there's one of those that's nearby here, and I have never eaten there. I have friends who have, and I pinged them about it.
Hello, they sell meat. I have eaten there.
That was going to be my next question: is have you actually eaten at Dickeys barbecue?
Of course I have. Of course I have. It's quite tasty, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I will try it. But anyways, so I had thought about it, but I'm like,
you're safe now. You go now. They won't. Your credit card won't have been leaked last week.
Don't go anywhere until after the breach, and then you go. So that's my new. When I test out a new restaurant, it'll be, have you been breached yet? I will pass. Yeah. After you've been breached, then I'll come eat. But that, I don't know. That just felt, I don't know. So I skipped that one. I actually chose a Google Chrome security 0-day bug. So Chrome, there you go, John. You can check your Chrome version and see if you're using the properly updated Chrome version.
Let's see.
Google released a new version. Let's see, this is a Wednesday. And so this would have been yesterday.
Let's see, 4240.111. Nope, I'm running 4240.80.
Yeah, so you need to update. Because what this 0-day vulnerability is a memory corruption bug in the free type font rendering library that comes included.
Oh, another font bug.
Yes. So Google's own Project One.
Whoever decided to put code in fonts is probably not the best choice ever.
So Google's own Project Zero, not Project One, Google's own Project Zero discovered it and it got the update, et cetera, et cetera. So what this one basically is we don't actually know yet, because as it is a 0-day, the details on the defect have not been made public. Just hey, there's a 0-day bug, go update your Chrome. However, there is a patch. So if you want to go out and read the patch to the open source code for free type, you can probably, reverse engineer what the 0-day actually is and start coming up with exploits. So I would expect in the next day or so to see working exploits for this. However,
somebody will have reversed it.
Yeah, if your Google Chrome is up to date with 86.0.4240.111, you won't be vulnerable to this exploit. So,
well, I did notice my work Chrome popped up with hey, you need to restart Chrome.
Yep,
which I did. So that was probably what it was doing. I hadn't actually seen the CVE.
Yep. Yeah, so there you go. That's the one I picked out today. Just a reminder, keep your software up to date. Even software that auto updates itself occasionally could use a bump.
Yep. So. Well, I mean, yeah, that's one of the problems with leaving Chrome running all the time. It's got to update itself at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sure I go weeks sometimes without rebooting Chrome. Actually, the only reason I've rebooted lately is that doggone Chrome bug that I hope that they will find and fix at some point. All right. All right. Well, yeah, we had a type bug not too long ago. Seemed like we talked about. I don't remember what episode that was in. It was a Windows thing though, not a Chrome thing.
Right.
But
yeah.
All right. Well, I chose 1.5. Call it 1.5 articles.
Mm-hmm.
So this first one is it's only security in that it has security in the name, I guess. I forget though. Do you have any Nest anything?
I do have the Nest Protect, which is the smoke alarm and CO2 things, but I do not have what I see in your article here. I saw this article as well.
The Nest Secure. I have the same thing. I have a Protect, but not. I don't even have the thermostat control. Well, so this is the reason it's like half an article is because basically Google's killing their Nest Secure line. So Nest Secure is their security system, not just the Nest thermostat or the Protect, it is Protect. Sorry, but so this has a speaker, keypad, the tags, and some what does it call it? Nest Guard and Nest Detect sensors that go on windows and doors and that kind of stuff.
Right,
but it was pretty. So a couple of funny things about the article. I didn't really follow this product line much, which evidently not enough people followed it because they're killing it. But evidently the original, it had the product was. Let's see. Let me actually read the quote, so I'm not doing speculation. The product had been changed so many times in development, it earned the informal nickname Tombstone, which seems pretty appropriate. So, but it was expensive. The starter pack was $500 for the hub, 2 sensors and 2 tags, which is that's only covers, 2 doors or 2 windows, and anything else was, an extra, what does it say? An extra $60 each, which, if you probably got a lot of windows in your house, and, so the the other thing that I liked about this article though, and why I was like, okay, fine, because here's the thing. We've been harping on this for a while now, but Google's continual product shutdowns damage its brand and make it hard to trust the company to be a good steward of new products. This is especially true of products, and then they'll name some, which require investing money in an ecosystem and functionality that might not be around for as long as you would hope. And, I am still carrying a grudge for them killing Google Reader. So that's really what this comes down to.
I was going to say, didn't we talked about there was a website that was like products killed by Google.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what it is.
Totally. It was one of your something funds, I think.
Killedbygoogle.com. Yes. You just go to killedbygoogle.com.
Oh gosh. So I have to say, or I have to ask, is the Nest Secure on the top of the killedbygoogle.com website?
It is. It's towards the top. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 7th on their list of things that they're killing. So killed 3 days ago. They're still going to kill something in a couple things in December, and something in January of 2021, and stuff in June and December of 2021. They've already started to list out what they're going to be killing off in the future. So if you want to know, if you want to view the Google graveyard, I think it was one of my something funs a while ago, is killedbygoogle.com.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So you can add Nest Secure on that one. But that doesn't include the cameras or their doorbell. I think those kind of things were part, the full security package. You had the doorbell and the camera and the cameras, and then the home security bits.
Yeah.
Ring has the same thing, which I have the Ring doorbell and a few outdoor cameras that are Ring cameras, but I don't I don't have the integrated alarm system that goes with it.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're going to do this to it. I mean, if Google's killing off their kind of alarm system, yeah. Anyways.
I don't know. So right, I gotta give a immediate correction. So we've spent much more time on this article than I expected to. But if you look on that Killed by Google website, all the top 6 items, they have a guillotine logo.
Correct.
Not a tombstone logo. So the Nest Secure is the most recent tombstone because it is correct. It is dead, not.
Its head is not waiting.
Not scheduled to be. Yeah.
And the others are not dead yet.
I'm not dead yet. Okay. Sorry. So that was my first one. So and mostly that was a remorse.
That was a way for you to gripe yet again about Google Reader not being around.
Yes, I don't care that it was 10 years ago now at this point. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna be like in my 80s going, yeah, back in my day, Google killed Google Reader.
2013.
Anyway, whatever.
Killedbygoogle.com.
7 years. So I should have looked out there. I was right there. Okay, 7 years. All right. Okay. My second article, a little close to home here, since, disclaimer, work at McAfee. So this is a Gizmodo article that says, Google says Chinese hackers are impersonating McAfee. So let me pull up this article. So this is a APT. I think they're calling them, what did they say? The same Chinese, I'm reading a quote here. The same Chinese government-linked hackers who targeted the campaigns of both 2020 presidential candidates earlier this year have been trying to trick users into installing malware by posing as the antivirus provider McAfee and using otherwise legitimate online services like GitHub and Dropbox. So, these suspected state-sponsored cyber attackers known as APT-31, let's see, blah, 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 blah. So, the two, particularly interesting things here. So, these are targeted phishing campaigns, or I guess you'd probably say they're spear phishing campaigns. But so the particularly interesting thing here is about what they're doing to install and manage and exfiltrate data. So let's see. The quote here is, the techniques involve emailing links that download malicious code hosted on the open source platform GitHub. So essentially, they're not hitting a site that is, can be blacklisted, malware, a low reputation URL, bad IP address, something like that. No, they're hitting Dropbox, or they're hitting GitHub, and then the quote allows the attacker to upload and download files as well as execute arbitrary commands through Dropbox's cloud storage services. So then they're leveraging Dropbox for exfiltration and potentially, downloading new things to drop. But then here's sort of the gist, or the money quote here is, every malicious piece of this attack was hosted on legitimate services. So that's kind of the, there's right. On the endpoint, there's been what's known as lol bins, or living off the land binaries, threats, try to use legitimate tools or dual purpose tools that can't be blocked. You can't just block PowerShell in a large enterprise organization. PowerShell is used for many things, including many legitimate things. But, if they can use PowerShell or WMI or, any of the existing features of the operating system that can't be, just disabled, that's a way of achieving, or there are ways of achieving persistence and lateral movement and, without having any, executable that gets dropped, for example. And this is, the same sort of thing, but using cloud services in that way. So that's the particularly interesting thing about this thing. The fact that they were attempting to, the quote here is, install a legitimate version of McAfee software from GitHub while malware was simultaneously silently installed to the system. So, not good. But the leveraging the legitimate services is, that's going to make it a little bit harder to detect.
Yep.
It's going to be some interesting stuff there. So that was my other article.
Yeah, this lends itself to that. What was it? A month or so ago, I saw some article about vectors for malware, and I think I remember being confused about why anti-malware software would be used. It was like second on the list, or it was high on the list of a vector. I don't remember exactly what the context was.
That was in dark web prices.
Oh, that's right.
Prices for license keys on dark websites.
There you go.
Yep. That was a while back.
So.
Okay. All right, man. How about something fun tonight? What you got?
So my something fun ties into a little bit my intro. I voted.
Yeah, good for you.
I think everyone should go out to vote and make your voice heard. Be sure to vote this year, especially if you're in the U.S. Take some time to read the information about things and go vote. And there is a great website if you just need to find out. Some places it might be too late to register by the time this comes out, but there's a website, iwillvote.com, which you can go to and pick what state you're a resident of, find a voting or a drop-off location if you're doing it in person, or if you're doing, a drop-off. You can check to see if you're registered to vote. Like I said, probably for a lot of places in the U.S., it's too late to register to vote. But you can just go there. Don't use the excuse, I couldn't figure out how to do it. Because if you're listening to this, I just gave you a website, iwillvote.com, and it'll tell you how to do it. So that's my something true. Fun.
It's not hard. Yeah. I do feel for the people that have lines to actually go to a polling place. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice living in the future. Although, sorry, that reminds me. I was driving through. Must have been doing an errand or something, and my wife and I were in the car, and we ran through the McDonald's drive-through to get some drinks, and I of course always try and I pay with my watch normally. I have Apple Pay, and it wasn't working for some reason, and my wife's like, just use a card like a normal person, future boy. I was like, no, I defaulted to the phone. But anyway, no, I refuse to live in the past. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yes, I will totally, I'll slightly, you sort of said if you live in the U.S., but if you live outside the U.S., vote in your own elections. Absolutely. If you live in the U.S., vote in ours.
Yeah. So the one note I was going to make, that I have seen that there is an increasing movement to make our what is it, the first Tuesday in November,
a holiday,
the day to vote, a holiday, which or there are at least a lot of companies that are giving their employees that day off if it's not an official holiday. But I think if we're going to continue to have you have to be present on day one and go someplace, then it should be a holiday. But if we don't want to make it a holiday, then how about you do some just mail, vote by mail stuff. So anyways.
No, vote by mail is awesome. Vote by mail is awesome.
Alrighty.
It is the future.
What fun are you bringing to the table?
I brought two, like, something funs. And I think they're both something fun because I couldn't not do either of them. So the first one is an uncrushable beetle. Did you see this?
No.
Just looking at it right now.
No, but now so many wrong thoughts are going through my head now. It's like it's the first thing in my head, uncrushable beetle. It was hold my beer.
You're like, I can crush this.
I can crush this. And then I think, well, no. All right, sorry.
Well, let's see. So how this uncrushable beetle can survive being run over by a car. So this is what they call it, the diabolical ironclad beetle. I don't know why it's diabolical, because it has horns.
That seems like an extra adjective that's unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the picture, if you look at the picture, which I'll try to put in the show notes here, if you have a podcast player that can show a picture here, it looks like it's maybe burnt.
It does look like lava rock.
Yeah, so I don't know. But so it says, in addition to having one of the coolest names in the animal kingdom, boasts one of the toughest natural exoskeletons. A team of scientists finally figured out the secret behind this extra durable armor and how these insects can survive getting run over by a car. That's pretty impressive for, I mean, maybe a cockroach can get run over by a car too. I don't know. The joke certainly is that you can't kill a cockroach. But
I wonder what evolutionary path the beetle took so that it was like his ancestors were getting crushed across running across the freeway. I don't know. In the what? In the Jurassic? It gets stepped on by dinosaurs. All right, I don't know. So their exoskeletons are extra tough, but when the pressure literally gets to be too much, their protective shells take on an elastic quality that results in a kind of stretching rather than breaking. So, what's the name of that? Sort of, they call it a non-Newtonian solid, right? It's like the what is that? Baking powder in water. The thing that if you move slowly, your hands can go in really easily. It's like liquid, but if you try and punch it, you can't. Anyway, yeah.
I don't know. So experiments show that diabolical ironclad. Oh, maybe diabolical is supposed to be capitalized, like it's the actual name. Like whoever named it the diabolical ironclad beetle. Because they use it again down below. It says the experiments showed that diabolical ironclad beetles can withstand an applied force of 150 newtons. I'm sure you have a good intuitive sense for how much a newton is.
No.
I don't either. And I should. But the point is that is 39,000 times its body weight. So to compare this to humans, which it to be fair, it says it's a vastly different scale, so it can't really compare. But that would require a 200-pound person to endure the crush of 7.8 million pounds. That's pretty.
That would be a flat 200-pound person.
That would be an extraordinarily flat 200-pound person. So anyway, so that's my something fun, because go diabolical ironclad beetle. That's fantastic, because I couldn't not say something about that. Okay, my second something fun is, did you know that we collected a sample, perhaps, from an asteroid yesterday.
Yes, my boy told me all about this last night.
Okay, good. Well, so you are perhaps even better informed than I am, which is totally fine. That's awesome. But so this was my second something fun because, this is an actual, I think this is the first time I read a different article that I thought said this, but this one didn't. I don't remember this article saying that. This is a Verge article that, sort of after they did it. I read an article a few days ago saying that they were about to, but I think this is the first time we're going to actually return samples from an asteroid.
That'll be cool to see that data.
Right? Did you watch the video on the website?
I did not.
It's just like a 10-second video. So this is the NASA OSIRIS-REx asteroid Bennu sampling rocks. But there are images of them doing the collection. So the goal was to... I'm not sure. I'm sure that they must have had some real design constraints for when designing the satellite, right? Because they tapped the asteroid, and then their hope is that some of the rocks floated up into the arm.
Right.
So I guess they didn't have enough. Doing something that would have vacuumed them up might have been too complicated, or I don't know. So they're hoping for gravity, I guess, or the lack of gravity. Playing with Newton's second law, I guess.
There you go.
So anyway, so they said they were in contact with the surface for about 6 seconds, and the collection time was about 5 seconds. And there is, like I said, a 10-second video out here on the site that you can watch. It says
sure
when
looks
it touched,
like they would have collected something from the video,
right? Because it's like goes all over the place. When it touched Bennu, the spacecraft's arm released a whiff of nitrogen gas, which caused the rocks and pebbles on the asteroid to dance and twirl about in a frenzy. The hope is that the gas caused some of those rocks to shoot up into the arm itself. And then the second cool thing about this is they don't know whether they got anything. So how do they test whether they got anything? Is they can take the ship and spin it, and then compare measurements from spinning it empty to spinning it with something in it, and they'll be able to tell how much additional weight is in the arm.
Oh, cool.
Which is like physics is
science.
Physics is cool. Physics works. Physics works. So, and assuming that they got enough, and I guess it's not clear what happens, at least from this, what happens if they didn't get enough? Do they try again? Do they have the ability to try again? Anyway, it says if they grabbed enough, at least 60 grams, then the mission team will start making preparations for the spacecraft to leave Bennu next year and embark on the long journey home, carrying precious cargo back to Earth. So that's my second thing. That's cool.
Yeah. I do think it would be rough being a software developer who gets almost instantaneous feedback on whether or not something I have built works or not. Having to spend years developing something, years for it to get to wherever it's going, and years for it to get back. I don't know if I could have that job. But I am very appreciative of people who do.
I'm more let's have continuous deployment kind of person. I need the rapid feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know why this is what it makes me think of, but back in the days of video game cartridges, right? Once you burnt the cartridge, all your bugs are in place.
That's right.
And yeah, I mean, who knows? I guess, can you imagine? I'm sure they do it, but who the amount of nervousness every time you have to hit the button to, update firmware on a satellite.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. All right, my friend, call it a show.
Yep. Very cool.
I should have looked to see if anybody went and left us a review. Did you?
I did not either.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, it's not too late then. You can go leave us a review now. That'd be awesome.
Yes, that would be cool.
All right, peoples. All right. Let's call it a night. I'll talk to you later, Eric.
All right, we'll see you, John. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.